Hi everyone, this is Jeremy and welcome to our first episode of our series on how to create portfolio projects as a data analyst. Whenever we want to find a job as a data analyst or many other jobs, we need to apply for them through LinkedIn or other websites depending on your region. The recruiter asks us to prove this knowledge and experience. One of the ways to show this experience and also to gain this experience is by doing projects. In those projects, we're going to learn things such as data cleaning, analyzing, coming to conclusions, and many other skills that we're going to go through this series. The first project we're ever going to do is the movie project. We're going to take a data set from Kaggle. If you don't know, here's the link to Kaggle, and let's go through the steps. I'm going to go to kaggle.com, can type it in. And here we go on the website and we're going to look for our data set. You can see it right on top. It was one of my last searches and we're just going to click on it. And we're just going to quickly see what the data set is about, read a little bit about the history of it, where it was taken from, what does it contain. Here we can see an attribute list. So we're quickly going to go over the attribute list, see if we have something interesting. We have revenue, runtime, budgets. Just take a quick glance at the data. I'm going to scroll right back up and download it. Here I'm opening the data, opening the table, the CSV file, just to go quickly over it, see that everything works. And I'm going to open MySql Studio and I'm gonna open a new project, make a new connection. I'm calling it movies demo. Now we're gonna import a new table, and I made a JSON file because I had some troubles, but you can try to upload your CSV, see if it works out for you, but if not, just convert it. And we're gonna go through writing our first query. So the first query is gonna be the simple select form. I'm just gonna want to select everything using the star, and we're gonna run it. Here we go. We can see that we have the same table that we already saw. So our first question is gonna be, what are the top 5 movies with the vote count above 15,000 votes? Now, the first question is, why would we want to choose the 15,000 votes as the mark? Is because we want to find a number that shows a significant number of votes, meaning if we have 5 votes but we have a high score, it doesn't mean that much. But when we have a big number, we have a kind of significant average, and we can choose other numbers such as top 10, top 20. It doesn't matter which of the top 5, because the top 5 shows us a quick data and we can really focus on what matters. So we're going to start with the first and most basic command. As we previously did, we're going to select everything and let's try to tweak it and add things and focus and slowly discover our query. So we will want to title, the name of the movie, and also the vote average. It's called here OOTE average. I changed the name, and we're going to want the vote count, and we're gonna copy the vote count and put it in the where. So this is where make count condition, where the vote count will be above 15,000, and we'll want to order it by the vote average in a descending order. This is the DES limit 5, and here we can see all the top 5 movies. We can see the first one, the vote average was 8.7, and we can see it was 23,935. And we can see all the ranking going from top to bottom. I believe that if we'll change the vote count to a different vote, we'll find something else. Now let's try to add the year. So when we want to add the year, we want to change it to the date to because it's a string, so we want to change it from a string format to a date. So we use the string to date, and we'll put our column, which is called release date, and this is our format that we have the data, and we're going to give it a name. This is where the as command part comes, and we're going to name it release year. Now let's select everything and run it through, and see again there's a new column on the left side, It's called release year, so we have also the dates of the movie. So for our second question, which is like very similar to the first part, we want the same thing, only we'll want the ascending order. That's why I changed to ASC. It's just as simple as that. And we can see that we have the lowest votes with the vote count, the lowest vote average score, right? With the at least 15 votes. So it's a very similar, only different. Now the third question, the amount of total movies made per language. This question here, it will help us a lot to understand in what language we should make the movie, what is the most recommended language movie there is. We'll start with select. We use the count function. We want to count the number of titles that we have. We're going to call it as total. And we'll take the original language, meaning the languages the movies were originally made from. We call it languages, and we're going to select everything, group by language, and order by the number of votes. We can see English is the best language, then we have Japanese and Korean. And now let's do the fourth part. We're going to clean some data. So we're going to use the trim function to remove things we don't want from our data set. We have in the genres column, we're going to have some parentheses, so we're going to try to move them, and we're going to do a trim in the trim function and remove the parentheses, and we're going to call it clean genres. And here we can see clearly that we have removed them. That part worked, and it's going to help us forward in order to count them. We want to count genres and try to make it a table and understand what are the best genres there is. So the fifth question is going to be what genres are the most common, and we're going to create a new table to help us do it out. So we're going to use movie. We're going to use the movie data set and create a new table called genre table, and we're going to use a select. We're going to sum all the cases. So basically it's a function between a function. We're going to make a condition that whenever there is an action, we're going to write it down as 1, and whenever there isn't in the column, we're going to name it as 0, and we're going to sum it everything and make it action count. We're going to copy down everywhere and just change the names to every genres we managed to have. Here we have copied everything, and then we're going to close it with movies, and we can see we have the new table with the counts of each time it appears. For the sixth, we want to show this data but in percentages, so we're going to use the genres count, and we're going to make a query within a query using the width, and we're going to do it by, we're going to sum every action count and all the counts we have, and going to call this total sum. And we're going to sum all the counts again from the general table. Now we're going to select, and we want to make a calculation of percentages, meaning every count divided by the total. And we can see here we have the percentages. We can make it nicer, but we're going to leave it here for now. I'm going to clean the dates and clean dates using a new table. We're going to call it clean date, and we're going to remove all the irrelevant lines. We're going to take the release date, the title, and we're going to search for where the release date isn't null, because we want to remove also those lines. And also when there is, we want to see where there are parentheses and also specific cases that I've wrote down here. And as we can see, we have a very clean date. We have only dates, years. And for the next part, we're just gonna take again the select. We're gonna select the year, and we're gonna take a count. In this count, we're gonna count the amount of titles. We're going to take it from the clean date, and we'll want to group it by release year. Also, we'll want to add an order. We're going to order it by the total movies. Here I'm going to copy it, paste it, and we can see we have here the amount of movies we have every year. and we'll want to do the ascending order to understand the most movies were ever produced, and then we're going to see the count of the downtrend, the uptrend, to see if there's a kind of trend. We want to understand basically if the movie industry is in a growth or is it in decline. So let's change it with a simple trick, as by adding the descend, and we can see the top movies. One very interesting comment is we can see that we have an increasing number of movies, total movies in every year. For the next part, we're going to calculate some financial calculations. We're going to look for the top 10 margin revenues. We're going to copy the year again. We're going to copy the title, the budget, and the revenue. And we're going to use the concatenate function, if you know it from Excel. We're going to connect a few items and create into a new one. Add some parentheses, and we're going to take the revenue minus the budget, and we'll divide it by the total revenue multiplied by 100. Here we go. I need to add, and we're going to round it up and also add a percentage symbol. We'll add slash, and we'll call it margin revenue, and we'll take it from the movie's top 10. And also, this is a very important condition. We'll want to remove the lines where the budget is 0 and also the lines where the revenue is 0. And let's order it by margin revenue descending, and we're going to limit to 10. Let's go select it, and here we can see the best revenues of movies in the order. Okay guys, so this was the first project. I hope it was helpful, and try to explore the data in many other ways. There are many possible queries to be done and many conclusions. So thank you for watching the video, and keep on exploring.